Golda Meir of Israel, India's Indira Gandhi, Cory Aquino in the Philippines, and of course, Britain's Iron Lady, Margaret Thatcher. Strong women all, who've dominated mostly male governments. But now, in Norway, there's another Iron Lady of Europe, Prime Minister Gro Harlem Brundtland. And she has a very different approach, bringing the rest of the women along with her.
How is it different around your cabinet table than, say, around Margaret Thatcher's? In both cases, you have a woman prime minister. What's different because you've got so many other women there with you in the cabinet and in the government?
Well, I think the difference is that there is a wide background of experience in half the cabinet ministers of being women and experiencing the kind of things that women see. They put greater emphasis on everyday, concrete questions of how family life is functioning.
Do women think any differently than men when they get into government?
I'm told the theory is that women are better problem solvers, more practical, common sense, instead of fighting about territory and prestige and process.
I think you may be right. There are always
I don't know, it's not my theory, it's the theory
No,
put to
but
me.
there are individual differences between men and between women. But generally speaking, I think it is true that women very often relate to the problem solving itself, and that they are less concerned about arenas and what is their part of the, the rights and the place for them. And so the cooperation between the women in the cabinet is strong.
She's been pushing all her life and joined the Labour Party at 7. Gro is the daughter of a former Norwegian defense minister and World War II resistance fighter. Her parents told her she could do it all and all at once. That meant marriage at 21 while earning a medical degree in Oslo. Later, she went on to Harvard University for further studies and raised a family all at the same time.
I did not want to get into a kind of choice between being one or the other. I saw other women doing that, either getting into their home and getting their babies, or only doing the other thing, and I felt that I had to try to do both. People are not used to women deciding, women concluding, women saying, straightforward, direct things, and no woman can become a leader without being able to do that. And there are so many psychological factors in people, because they are not used to women in that role, that the bitchy Mrs. Thatcher, something like this has also been said. Why? Well, because she has been in a position that she has to put down her foot to say what is the conclusion.
Cabinet meetings aren't a lot of laughs either. Brundtland has her share of troubles, and her quota system is part of the problem, says Carly Hagen.
Quite a few of the women in the cabinet is there because they're women, not because they're good, clever, or have organizational experience or administrative experience.
So you're saying that men of superior qualifications,
Oh, yes.
superior men are on the back bench?
Yes.
Because of the quota to get so many women
That's
in
correct.
cabinet?
Yes.
Does she and her cabinet get an easier ride because they're women?
I think definitely that they do, because they got some sympathy from the public. So if a strong man is attacking their views and policies, it's always still in our society a tendency to say, well, don't be too hard, she's a woman. So she gets the advantage from that point of view.
I'm sure that would drive Mrs. Brundtland crazy, what you just said.
Oh, she probably would be crazy, but it's still a fact.
It's stupidity to make that comment. And why did nobody say this openly? I've never heard anyone say it. So they only said it to you, to the Canadian television? What's this?
The leader of the Progress Party says it pretty bluntly, that a lot of these women are in there solely because they're women, and in fact they get an easy ride, because if the men criticize them too much, or the same as they would a man, they're just picking on the girls. Picking on the girls.
It's very interesting. He never said that in Norway. He never said it on Norwegian television. He has said that in Canada. That's very interesting. I will ask him for, a background, because, it's completely out of the question.
You will ask him to explain, and what
I
will you
will
say
ask
to him?
him. I will ask him to repeat this in Norway so that we can argue with him.
Is he going to get called up before the teacher?
Well, I'm going to ask him. You can be certain about that.
You can be sure of that and sure of another thing. Whatever happens to her government, the women are here to stay.
For Norway. How's it different in Norway now? Would any party, even the far right-wing party, have an all-male cabinet or simply token female representation anymore?
No conservative government or middle kind of government, which is not social democratic, could go back to something that is 10 years behind us. They could modify. They could do less. But Norway is changed. They couldn't even stop building the daycare centers after we had put it on the tracks.